Chicago, 2011. A cop is murdered. Police and prosecutors swear they have the trigger man. He swears he didn't do it. How far will each side go to prove they're right?
Like it's just one bombshell after another, where you're like, what?
The story of a PlayStation, a brain-eating amoeba, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Off Duty, out now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax day is year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.
Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fan Fellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and your resident lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your bookish internet goofball, but you can call me the Smash Daddy.
And we are currently deep diving Brandon Sanderson's fantasy epic, Mistborn. But here's the catch. Steven here has not read Mistborn before.
That's right, hey. So each week, you'll get my unfiltered, raw reactions to every single chapter.
And along the way, we'll do character deep dives, magic explainers, and Steven will even try to guess what's next. Spoiler alert, he'll be wrong.
Newsflash, I'm never wrong. Episodes come out every Wednesday, and you can find Fantasy Fan Fellas wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello and welcome back to the Psych Legal Pop Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about popular culture through the lens of an attorney and a therapist. I'm the therapist, Tess Brigham.
And I'm Brooke Brigham. I'm the attorney.
And we are back with Sister Wives, Season 19, Episode 14, The Truth Will Set You Free. Not quite sure where this title comes from. And after several stellar episodes, this one was a little bit of a snooze. I was not thrilled, but it was still pretty good.
Yeah. And I just say
some moments
that if you're listening and you did not catch our episode last week with Melanie and Corey, former AUB members, listen to it because it'll change the way you look at the show. It has for me.
Yeah.
Because they gave so much insight into what these people are thinking and what motivates them and everything. And so when I was watching this episode, I felt like, okay, I'm really starting to understand. Because you were always going, how could Meri be doing this? How could she be staying with him for 10 years? Well, now I get it. And, why is Kody the way he is? And why is he doing this? And well, okay, now I'm starting to get it.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing too is, they position themselves as being like, we're polygamous, but we're just like you. And I think part of what I really came away with from reading, from the interview that we did, which is, it was positioned of we're polygamous, but we wear normal clothes and we don't look like the normal, but you are different. Like your teachings were very different. Like, so we keep, all of us who maybe didn't grow up with a lot of religion or didn't grow up in these high control environments, we're looking at everything through that lens because we think this is who they are. And it's like, no. Yes, maybe they don't wear the prairie dresses and maybe they're not as oppressed as some of these other women or children, but the framework is there, even though they're wearing jeans and t-shirts.
Right. And that's the thing. The indoctrination is
Yes. Thank you.
Because they'd been indoctrinated since childhood, to think a certain way, to act a certain way, the religion of, you got to do this to get to heaven or you're going to burn in hell and you don't want to burn in hell.
Yeah.
You want to go to heaven and live forever in heaven with your family and all. So they've grown up with this their entire lives. And so, that's their lens that they're looking at it. So that's why we're always so frustrated. Like, what took you so long to leave? I mean, financially, they couldn't.
Yeah.
But, the only reason, like Christine, I mean, of course they could have left, but they would have been where would they have gone?
And once the show started, that's everything, right?
And Kody was controlling the money. My understanding is, from everything I've read, and it would track with all of this, is they were getting money from the show. It was going to Kody, and he was deciding I mean, it was going into this quote unquote family pot that they always talk about. But as we've learned over the last few episodes, Kody controlled where that money went.
Yes.
He doled out the money. He wrote the checks. So they didn't have control of the money. And, Christine, it was a stroke of luck that, that Kody was not on title to her house. She was able to sell that thing out from under him and left. And there was really nothing that he could do.
Yeah.
Legally.
And so that's the other part of it too is, how long did Christine want to leave from the time in which she was like, oh, wait a minute, I can now. You know what I mean? I'm wondering if she really was like, I gotta, and it was one day she just looked up and realized like, oh, wait, this is my one chance to bail. But the other thing too is with Melanie and Corey is both of them, the sense I got was very early on, both of them were like, I don't know about this. Like they were already kind of in the back of their minds, questioning things. So if you think about maybe someone like Meri, who maybe she questioned some of it, but not all of it. She didn't question those things. So, and we saw with Melanie and Corey, just, how they're still, they said they're still unpacking. They're still trying to process and get through and to understand everything. And they are right our age. And so you think about someone like Meri, and I think this is why we see this. This is why the worthy up stuff doesn't land with us. Is it's a little bit like, because it's truly something that you would think is whoa when you're in high school.
Yeah.
Like after your first breakup or, you're writing bad poetry, you know what I mean? Like when you're a teenager, like early 20s, like we all already did that.
Yeah. Because Melanie and Corey left pretty young. Like late teen. Corey left at 18 and never
Corey
left
the minute he could get out of there. Yeah.
Yeah. And Melanie left at 26, which is young. But she already had, 3 kids and.
Well, she had left. Yeah, sorry. She left and then came back and then left again. Like so you have to think about like if you're Christine or Meri, where you've never thought if this is what you believed in, you know what I mean? I think that's what we're seeing. And you're absolutely right. I look at Meri totally differently.
Yeah, I have a lot more compassion for her.
I do.
I have a lot more compassion for all of them, really. Even I hate to say. Even
Robyn,
because she was indoctrinated to this stuff as well.
Yeah.
And even though she clearly wanted to be the favorite wife, we learned from them that there were favorite wives. Like that was a position to be held.
Yes.
And every family, every plural family, there was a favorite wife, and she sought that position out and she got it. So she really believed in this stuff as well. And from a religion point, I think that Christine and Janelle, well, no, because Janelle says that she still believes in polygamy and that she would still do it again. She just didn't want to do it with Kody because he was exhausting. Christine really had a full-blown break with the religion. And Meri, I think I don't think she wants to be in a plural marriage again, but I think she still believes in the faith. I mean, she went to the church elders and got that release. So that means she still has respect for the religion.
Yeah.
And Robyn clearly still believes in it and is crying over everybody leaving. So yeah. I mean, they all have genuine feelings. About this.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yes. All right.
Completely new lens here. So, we start out at Robyn and Kody's house. They're going on a date.
Oh, yes. And God, Kody, it's just like, I just love to connect with this woman. I'm like, can I vomit now? Like, if my husband said that to me, I'd punch him in the face. Like, can we just eat? And you know what? I bet you anything, the top of that Josephine's, it must be so hot in that attic.
Oh, yeah.
All I could think about was how hot it must be in that attic. But they don't drink. But it's like,
well, they do drink. Remember?
If you've had a couple cocktails, you start to get warm. And at our age, get warm naturally. I was just like, oh God, that looked terrible.
Yeah, I can't tell. Is this winter, spring, summer? I don't know. Hopefully they have air conditioning at Josephine's. But yeah, I wonder how much of a kickback Josephine's gets, if anything.
I wonder if they even rent out that attic, or if they just like, okay, the Sister Wives people are here. Let's clean out the attic and put a table up there. And there we go. I don't know.
They must be getting paid for doing this. So,
yes.
And then Robyn explains that when you have little kids at home, it's not always easy to go out on a date.
Mm-hmm.
And the girls are busy with college and homework, and then there's bath time and dinner. But it's like, but wait a minute, you have these built-in babysitters. So why is it who you don't let live normal teenage lives or young adult lives at this point? So why is it so hard to go on a date?
I think she's just saying what she thinks we want to hear.
Yeah.
She says a lot. She says a lot of the things that I think she wants people to hear, because she can't say, Kody and I love to go out. We go out all the time.
Yeah.
Because I think they do. And they should.
Yeah. We always see pictures of them in like these restaurants around Flagstaff in Arizona, and and drinking wine, you know, and going shopping, and I think they do go out quite a bit because they have 2 built-in babysitters, and those kids are not that young. Like they're toddlers.
Well, yeah. And the other thing is, I mean, she's got all those siblings and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure they could hire a babysitter, or they could hire or ask a family member. I find it hard to believe that they, this is their one in a, 6 month.
Oh, of course not.
Date at Josephine's.
Do you think Dayton's even living there anymore?
Because it's funny. We didn't hear about Dayton at all. I don't think so. And it's also, then I thought, well, that's very sexist. Like, why can't Dayton watch the kids? Why are the girls responsible for watching the kids if Dayton's there too? Shouldn't they trade off?
Well, where is Dayton? I'm concerned. I'm concerned. I hope he's safe. I mean, some people have speculated that he's living with his father. But I don't know. I'm a little bit worried about him.
I don't know. I feel like not seeing Dayton is a good thing. I feel like Dayton is somewhere where he can do what he wants to do. Like, I don't think he ever really enjoyed these cameras and any of this. And that's the other thing too, what I was saying about, we were talking about with Corey, was he talked about being, he's more introverted and how hard that is. And then I think about someone who's on the spectrum and how hard that is, because we had something last night where we went out to dinner and my son was like, this place is a lot loud. This place is loud. Thank God they seated us in that other room. I'm like, how is this? But, you're very, very sensitive to, like, a lot of kids are sensitive to sound. I just feel for Dayton. I always feel like he just seems like he must feel so overwhelmed, and it must be nice to kind of like, God, get away from these people.
Yeah.
Live his own life.
Yeah. So Kody is really excited that he's got Robyn all to himself, and he has so much he wants to talk about.
Oh, yes. So much.
As if they never talk. As if they never have time all fucking day long.
Yeah.
When they're together to talk about things.
Yes.
And they also act like they can't talk about anything in front of their kids, which I'm not saying they should talk about adult things in front of their kids, but their kids, you can go into your bedroom at night and talk about that. Or when the kids are at school, they're at school all day.
Yeah.
That's a lot of time.
Yeah. Yeah. And guess what? You know what? My son never listens to me. So you could say so much.
They're listening, but really, no. They're doing their own thing. They're so in a trance, looking at some device that they barely like acknowledge you when you do try to talk to them.
So wait, is this part where did she start to talk about the girls, or is that later in the episode where she talks about the girls wanting to go?
No, she talks about it later. So they flip back and forth, and
okay. Well, I want to talk about that when we get there.
We'll get there. So next, I think
is the engagement.
No, she does say that Aurora and Brianna. This is before she talks to Kody about it, but she says Aurora and Brianna asked her. We saw this last week. To help them find a church. So she needs to see what Kody thinks about this.
To see if he would get triggered.
I guess
or something. Okay, so this is what I was going to say about the girls and this church thing. When we were recapping it and talking about it, I was so fixated on the religious part of it that it really did go way over my head. We talked for a while about their ages, but it's so interesting to see how many other people pick this up, and everyone who talked about this episode talked about this, about how, they're legal adults. They're 21 and 19 or whatever ages they are. My God, why do they have to ask permission to go to church? Because I was like, I really didn't get that. I was like, this is very oppressive. And
it is.
Why aren't these girls making their own choices and decisions? Like, why can't they then go out and shop? Why do you need your mom to do this with you?
Right. And also the thing, unlike Dayton, who seems to have gotten out of this high control situation, we don't know where he is, but they're in this high control situation with Robyn. She has brainwashed them from day one. The first episode, season 1, episode 1, where she's showing them pictures of the family, and she says, "Who is this?" And Brianna says, "Kody," and she says, "Who? Oh, Daddy." She's been grooming them and brainwashing. So now it's like they're these young women who basically have to live at home until they get married. That's what it looks like to me. I feel like they have told them, you have to live at home until you got married. And Brian was like, well, how am I going to meet a guy and get married? I got to get out of here. But first I got to meet a guy. So asked me to marry him. I got to get married so I can leave. So she's like, can I please go to a church to find a guy? It's so sad.
Yeah.
And like, Aurora, she just looks dead inside.
Ugh, I've always had an issue with Aurora. And it's not that I don't like her. It's just more of, that girl has never had her own opinion, ever. We don't know who she is, what she likes, what she doesn't like. We don't know anything, because that girl has loved everybody from moment one. And that always freaks me out.
Well, she's needy. Yeah.
She's very needy, but a lot of approval and all of those things. But I think that she's learned very early on, I'll just like everybody. And then that way I'll be okay. When they show them on the couch and they show them talking, like Brianna looks scared. She looks frightened. Like, God, how do I get out of here? How do I escape? Blinking, like somebody help me. And then Aurora just looks, like I said, just like a zombie. Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm going through the motions here. I'm very concerned about
I am.
Really. So, and then Kody has to say, it's nice to be on a date because we've had this experience with family who has moved on and it's caused a lot of pain. And, they want to remove themselves from that or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like,
Cody's really entered into a new phase of all of this of, well, they're gone now. You're kind of like, but you do have control. Like they are still on this planet, and many of your children live in the same town. Like he's acting as if, well, it's over. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like the relationships. It's like, what are you talking about? They're still here. Like you still have control, but because they won't follow him or listen to him, he's like, well, that's it. There's no other solution. It's craziness.
So Robyn's droning on. She has a lot of talking in this episode. She says she wants to talk while they don't have two little children interrupting us. Little children.
So what? The kids are what? 9 and
I don't know, like
11,
10 and 8 or 8 and 11. They're not.
Are you kidding me? Brooke and I were on Greyhound buses going across. Do you know our parents?
Cigarettes.
Yes, we weren't smoking, but there was smoking on the bus. Yeah, our parents were putting us in a goddamn bus to go across whatever to see our other parent.
Yeah,
like little children. We were seeing shit. We were already seeing a lot of stuff by 10.
Getting off the bus in the downtown San Francisco.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, good times. But, the girls, they want to go to church, find their path, but it's not Kody's church. And then Kody explains how their church was basically people who had been excommunicated from the LDS church and believed in plural marriage. It's like, well, thank you. We know. And then he says he wouldn't have a problem with his kids going into plural marriage, but he's not fond of it.
Now you are.
This is, excuse me, this takes the cake. This was the best line. He says he's worried about steering them clear of culty-like churches.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Culty-like. Not, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. You've skipped over some things, but do you want to just stay here and keep talking about the...
Yeah, I think I just wrote all the stuff about them in one.
Okay, got it.
One thing. So let's just keep going with this date.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, he's talking on and on about he's losing his religion while finding his faith. I mean, he's just got a lot of platitudes and a lot of stuff. And this was also very funny. He said that the church saw his hair as rebellious.
Yes.
And they wanted to put him in a leadership position, but they wanted him to cut his hair.
Yes. And he said no.
That's why Kody never made it far.
Or do you think they're like, God, we feel like we have to ask Kody, but we don't really want him. Mm-hmm. So let's just tell him he has to cut his hair. And we know he's not going to do that. But wait, is this where they were talking about how the church leaders were pissed that they went public?
Yeah.
We had this whole church leader discussion.
Yeah. Robyn said that it made them mad.
Yeah. Yeah. They thought they all thought that Christine and the whole family, thought that the church leaders would be on board with them doing this. But then it's like, really? You would think that after everything we've heard about this, that they would then be on board with this. But that was really interesting. Again, I don't remember that they always talked about how there was this negativity of, us going public. And it was always around this idea of religious freedom and plural marriage. And it was about the state of Utah and it was about the community. But it was like, no, you know what? It was also people that ran the head of your religion. Mm-hmm. They also weren't happy about it. And
because it is a cult, and one of the first rules of a cult is you got to keep these things secret.
Yeah.
You don't go and talk about, because over the years on the show they would talk about good and bad things about polygamy.
But the other thing is too, if you could say that them doing the show really was them getting out. Do you know? It's almost a little bit like. Almost as if, someone takes a job with someone or a family moves next door and starts to influence you. If you really think about it, Christine was able to leave because she had the house, but they were able to afford multiple homes. They couldn't afford multiple homes before.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They were, I think that was a lot of it. I think that getting out, that part of getting out for them was this show. Because the show helped them get there.
Yeah. And, Maddie on her podcast this week, she said, point blank period, before the show, we lived in poverty. Mm-hmm. And she used the word poverty several times, talked about poverty mindset, talked about how, when her parents would get like a tax refund or something, they'd just go spend it. Mm-hmm. They weren't, sounds like they weren't really great with money. Handling money. I mean, we've seen it.
Yeah, she
made
a few
deals.
Yeah, she made a few indications about, what did she say about her? Her father was always about the get rich, the quick fixes, which I could totally see.
Like these MLMs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just kind of that same mentality of, oh, okay, well, let's buy this now and then we'll get our tax check in a couple months and then oh, okay, well now I need that money for something else. I think he's always, this is always his MO. He buys first.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, and then he goes back to this cult thing where he says you can lose your children to bad marriage, to disagreements and a divorce, or you can lose your children to a cult.
Interesting.
A lot of cult talk on this.
Yeah. Well, and then he sort of, he went into this whole thing about his these daughters of his daughters, and this idea of them dating boys, and what's the role that Kody's going to play. And he's like, I'm here. I'm a knight with my sword to protect them. And then he said, I played king with some of my other daughters, and that
backfired.
And I'm like, okay. I mean, that's the part that's really disconcerting. If I was Savannah or any of these, Isabel, I'd be like, well, okay, we can do that. Why can't you be a knight for me? Like, you're just sort of throwing up your hands.
Yeah, like because he had, what I interpreted that as is that I think like with Maddie and Caleb, of course he was in love with Caleb. That was the best time of his life.
Yeah.
But I think he tried to insert himself too much into their life and pressure them, with the one big house thing and moving back. And they kept saying, no, we're never going to do that. And he wouldn't respect that. And he just kind of kept doing it. And then the way he treated McKelty and Tony was not very nice. So I think that's what he was referring to with where, him being too controlling blew up in his face. But you're right. Okay, well, here you have a chance to do it over again.
Yeah.
He's clearly, still wants a relationship with you. And, we don't know what Savannah thinks or feels. Actually, we do, because she said in that one episode, when we find out he hasn't seen her in a year, or whatever, she said that she basically accepts, or maybe Janelle said this, I can't remember. She accepts that he's just like a Disneyland dad. Doesn't see him, and he comes around, once in a while. And when he does, they can get along and have a conversation, and then he's gone.
Yeah.
So that's sad. I mean, Isabel's still holding out hope, but Savannah has kind of given up on him.
Yeah. Well, she's not even going to have Kody walk her down the aisle. That's going to kill Kody. He's going to lose his goddamn mind.
Well, that's what, actions have consequences.
Yeah.
So, okay. So now is this where we get into the church shopping discussion, or was there something else?
I think so. Because she's commenting on other things. This has got to do with Meri. Yeah, keep going.
Well,
I think
okay,
because it's mainly just talking about church shopping.
Yeah, I have down because she brings it up as if he doesn't already know with why they're there. And he says, "I'm safe for them, right?"
Oh yeah, that was so weird.
Yeah, and Robyn says, "Absolutely," and then she says, religion is an intense topic for you. Then we get Aurora and Brianna on the couch saying, yeah, he's intense. And this is where they look really disturbed. They look like no joy, fear, worry. And so I think what's happening here is that they are afraid of his reaction to this, how he's going to react, what he's going to do. And then later on in the conversation, it becomes apparent that I think they're afraid, because he says he wants to go to this church too, because he doesn't want anyone thinking Robyn is a single woman.
Oh yeah, we have to talk about that. Their other thing, yeah. Go on.
So they know eventually he's going to show up in this church, and they're afraid of how he's going to react and how he's going to embarrass them, basically, because he's Kody, because he was the priest of his family. So now what? He's going to take a demotion? Now he's just like a member of the congregation.
But he's a knight with a sword.
I know. Well, which is better, a priest or a knight? I don't
know. But Kody just needs to feel like he's a badass.
He needs to feel like he's like
and protecting. Yeah, in charge.
He's important. He's a badass. He's in charge. He does not want to anyone to tell him anything, tell him what to do, think, feel, whatever. So this is problematic, and you can tell they know this is coming. So they're trying to, I guess, head it off at the pass. I mean, this actually, when I think about it, is quite strategic.
Yeah.
What they're having to do here.
I bet you anything, maybe Brianna's already met someone, and that this guy maybe goes to a church, and they're going to shop. Yeah. I would not be surprised if they had thought all of this through and kind of like, this is their way to get around it all.
Right.
And good for them. If this is the only way they can get out, then do what you got to do to get out.
Yeah, because Robyn is really using her charms here with him.
Oh, with Kody? Okay.
Yeah.
So now can we talk about their role playing? So you know that this is one of their favorite nighttime role plays, which is the whole like, oh, I looked at you. No, I looked at you. No,
tell me what happened when you saw me. What did you feel? Did you feel a lightning bolt?
Yes. I mean, I bet you anything. Do you think she really felt a lightning bolt, or did she figure out like, okay, I'm going to tell this guy I felt a lightning bolt and just feed his ego? Because you know that fed
it makes
his ego.
him so happy.
Ugh.
And he's like, well, where did you feel the lightning bolt? That's the R-rated version they do.
Well, and of course he had to tell us that there were a lot of men interested in Robyn.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, look at me. And I gave her these tingly feelings, me. And the whole thing of, and then we locked eyes. And then.
And then what happened?
But this is their little thing that they do. You know that this is their foreplay.
Oh,
where they talk about just how hot they were for each other.
Yeah, because Kody, she's telling the story and she gets to the climax of the story. She's like, and then I felt my lightning bolt. And he is like looking up towards the sky and like pointing up to the sky like, thank you, Jesus. I mean, it was very dramatic.
That God, brought Robyn to him.
Yeah. Well, and also this story is a little bit different than the story that they've been telling in the past.
No, I feel like it kind of matches up, doesn't it?
Because what about that story about like Meri and Kody went to some dance and Robyn was there and Meri was talking to her. And then she told Kody, why don't you go ask her to dance? That's one of the stories I remember.
Yeah, but I remember the cousin. I remember seeing each other at church, and I remember the cousin. So I felt like those two parts. I wonder if the dance was the third time they saw her. Psych Legal Pop will be back after these messages.
Chicago, 2011. A cop is murdered. Police and prosecutors swear they have the trigger man. He swears he didn't do it. How far will each side go to prove they're right?
Like it's just one bombshell after another, where you're like, what?
The story of a PlayStation, a brain-eating amoeba, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Off Duty, out now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fan Fellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and your resident lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your bookish internet goofball, but you can call me the Smash Daddy.
And we are currently deep diving Brandon Sanderson's fantasy epic, Mistborn. But here's the catch. Steven here has not read Mistborn before.
That's right, hey. So each week, you'll get my unfiltered, raw reactions to every single chapter.
And along the way, we'll do character deep dives, magic explainers, and Steven will even try to guess what's next. Spoiler alert, he'll be wrong.
Newsflash, I'm never wrong. Episodes come out every Wednesday, and you can find Fantasy Fan Fellas wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah, maybe that's when they cinch the deal.
Mm-hmm. But it does sound a little bit like Kody saw her. She saw him. There was some kind of spark that happened, and oh, interesting.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, Robyn was young. She was cute.
She was very cute.
Yeah, and she knows how to play this game.
Yep.
She's been studying it her whole life. She's been waiting, for the right person to do this with. And she gets to be on TV and, gets to be part of this show.
Well, I do think that all of this happened long before the show. I think that was, I think she earnestly did want to join this family minus the show. But I think the show maybe made it a little more interesting, maybe. But
I felt like the show and her, I'm not saying that, that was the only thing, but I feel like they happened at around the same time.
But I think what we're hearing now is, the two of you, just like how everybody else meets in life and dates, right? Is you see someone across a crowded room, there's a spark, you maybe talk to each other. Like that's how it all works.
Yeah.
That's how, and hence why maybe the two of you are soulmates or whatever you want to call it, right? Versus these other women. I don't know. It was just, anyway, that I felt really uncomfortable. I'm like, this scene needs to end. I'm so uncomfortable.
I've never seen Robyn this animated in years.
Yeah.
I mean, she really came to life, and so did Kody. Like,
Yeah.
we've been watching them being mopey, angry people, and that's just for the camera, apparently, because in real life they are happy.
Yeah, well, they have to pretend like they're not happy. They do. They I think they have to pretend. And I think Kody, and I do believe that Cody's anger is real because he knows he doesn't look good. And so that's why he has to reiterate how much he loves Robyn, how much he loves connecting with her, how she was so wanted, how much she wants him, and how wonderful and special their relationship is. Like, he keeps doubling down on that over and over. And it's like, okay, Kody, yes, someone likes you. Someone finds you attractive and wants to have sex with you. Like, okay,
congratulations.
Yeah. Woo woo. Like, happy for you. It's okay. You're good.
Yeah.
Right, are we done talking about those two? Kind of sick of them now.
Well, I think
they're going to come back around.
Kody says, do we need to do any cleanup on our relationship?
Oh, God, yeah. And what did she say?
I mean, I have down here, she says, I don't know. She says, just talking about how she wants to go to church because their church is not a safe place. I don't know. This was so much just back and forth gibberish. And then he talks again about his hair, about how Brigham Young had long hair and a beard, and he says, "Give me a break." That's a real sore spot.
But that's so weird. Do we need to clean up anything about our relationship? I mean, why? That is not. I don't. Someone please argue with me if this is how other couples talk to each other. But that's not like that isn't. I have never said that. Steve's never said that to me. It's just weird. Clean up what?
I don't know. Kody had a lot of, I feel like he prepped a lot of lines for this. And he says, I want to know that God is my wingman and no one can take you away from me.
Yes. Yeah. And we saw that in the preview when they were doing the show. And I remember thinking, oh God, he's so worried that she's going to go or leave or where is she going?
And then it says that he had to get her that big old diamond ring so that, that the guys would stay away from her. And she starts flashing her ring. And I'm like, I don't think that's the ring that she got on her wedding day. I don't know when she got that ring. It was pretty big. So I think she got upgraded to make sure the men know clearly Robyn is taken.
Yes. Maybe that and the TV show that they're on might clue people in.
And Kody, you probably don't need to go to church. Yeah, because people know she's not a single mother. They're watching the show.
Yeah.
And Kody probably should stay away from church because she's just going to embarrass everybody and make everybody feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, and also, guess what? Rings, churches, knights, sword. If someone's going to cheat, they're going to cheat. If someone's going to leave you, they're going to leave you. That's just how it is.
I don't think that's going to happen here.
No.
Happy together. They're
but he is so insecure. It's like it's very disconcerting to watch this narcissist be so insecure. It's like, okay. Anyway, let's talk about probably the most awful engagement party I think I've ever witnessed. Ever. I'm sorry, Christine. This was a real dud of an event.
It was.
I mean, hello, you guys didn't even try. I mean, it's at Gordo's,
tacos, and beer.
Yeah, which I can understand if you want to have something super casual, tacos and beer, but like, I don't know. It just seemed kind of seemed like the producer said, okay, what are you guys going to do?
Yeah, we
need more content. And they were like, oh, okay, we'll have an engagement party. And then.
Well, and she says that one of the purposes of this party is so that her kids and David's kids can mingle and get to know each other. Well, you've been saying that they're already meshing and getting along and loving this whole experience. And so I don't know what that means. Yeah, I think they're desperate for content because, every single episode at this point is just going to be leading up to their wedding. It's all going to be wedding related. So
then why show us the wedding in the beginning of this year? If they must have planned this out. They knew they had all this content. So why not, like, to me, it feels like the wedding should have then happened at the end of this season, should be Christine's wedding.
And I'm sure it will be. I'm sure they will play it back, not the full thing. But, I think we're going to see a lot of it because that wedding special had a lot of stuff like leading up to it as well.
Yeah.
So I think we might see some of that stuff again. I mean, they're going to do a shortened version of it, but yeah, we're going to see it again. I think that TLC did it because, look, she was going to go and did People Magazine pay her for it? Yeah, so they knew she's going to go to People Magazine, get a bunch of money for this. It's going to be out there. We want some of that. We want a piece of that.
Yeah.
So we had that wedding special that made them money for advertising and whatever. So she's really working this. I see all the time, like on social media, all these paid ads for all kinds of stuff. I mean, she's really getting in there, getting her money.
Yeah. Well, she's finally free. She finally gets to keep all of it.
Right.
It must be nice to be able to get the paycheck and just keep it.
Yeah, must be nice. So Christine's got the whites off the shoulder dress. And Janelle shows up in a hot pink dress, and everyone's like, "Whoa, Janelle!" Which I liked it. I thought she looked great. And Hunter is there, and Janelle came all the way from North Carolina for this. She said she's going back tomorrow, but she so they're flying her back and forth for these scenes, obviously.
Yeah, because she's not paying for that. No. I mean, I think Janelle's showing up. Because honestly, if Janelle didn't show up to this party, have we had one Janelle storyline since she went over to Meri's and tried to convince her that they were going to get screwed over? I mean, that's the other thing. We've seen there's been very little of Janelle with storylines because she doesn't live out there anymore.
Yeah, she's basically living in North Carolina. Maddie has had her baby, her third baby. We saw the baby at the wedding dress fitting or showing, whatever that was. So she's back there helping her. She's not around. And that's the thing. Christine lives in Salt Lake. Janelle lives between Flagstaff and North Carolina. So they've got to.
And this is the only choice they have. And Janelle's not going to film with Robyn. She tried to film with Meri, and Meri was, and that was that. And so Christine's the only person she has, and she doesn't want to see Kody at all. Because every time she sees Kody tries to get back in with her. So.
Yeah, no, she's avoiding him. But so Hunter's there and all the girls.
I just wrote down, I'm so bored. But I do feel for you, Christine, because I too spill a lot, and I also do not wear white for that reason. If I do, I choose to wear it when I don't have to eat, because I too am someone that spills all the time. So I feel you. I do.
We knew that was going to happen when she kept talking about this, yummy dipping sauce. I'm like, oh, that sounds messy. Dipping a taco in a dipping sauce. I mean, taco's already messy.
Yeah.
And then you dip it in a sauce and try to get it to your mouth without.
Well, yeah. And what she's talking about, those birria. Have you had those birria? Talking about shredded meat. So it's like very greasy shredded meat on a greasy tortilla. And maybe it has cheese on it. Do you know what I mean? And you're going to take that and dip that into a sauce.
It's a disaster waiting to happen. Yeah. But Janelle has a Tide pen.
Yeah.
she's got her.
I feel like I should get one of those. I should get one of those and carry it with me. Mom used to,
Yeah, well, she's notorious for spilling also. And at one point she got so tired of it, she put together this kind of elaborate stain kit that she would carry around with her that had things in it for various kinds of stains, if it's a grease stain or like a red wine stain, there's different things to do. So yeah, it's relatable.
Yeah, and then I wrote, McKelty is a lot. What did McKelty do? I can't remember now.
Oh my gosh.
What was she doing at the part? There was something about it where it was a lot. Like, shh.
Well, this was super interesting where Christine says that basically, like, so David is very much like McKelty. He loves to push buttons. She said, David and McKelty are so similar. It's like I'm marrying my daughter.
Ugh.
So we're starting. Yeah. So I think now that David's more comfortable, we've seen him more. I guess this kind of goofy button pushing side of him is coming out because he's betting. He bets $5 Christine will get something on her white dress, and I don't know. There were a few other things. He's not as bad as McKelty.
No, I was going to say I don't see them as the same person. I think that he's a more mature version, and that's very typical. Listen, if I wore that white dress to a taco party, Steve would say the exact same thing to me. He'd be like, "You're going to spill something on that dress. I bet you anything you're going to spill something." So I don't, and that's the thing. That's not what McKelty says outrageous things as just to say them, to see sort of how people are going to react. And I think she maybe wants people to think she's uber cool. So she says these things that really are really uncomfortable and weird. And you're kind of like, that's not cool.
Like at the dress shopping, where she says that looks like a vagina dress and that whole thing in front of David's 92-year-old mother and in front of Annie and everybody. Yeah. I mean, it was just like, and it's not like you're 16. She's 20, like late 20s.
Yeah, you're a mother of 3.
Exactly. You're in your late 20s, almost 30. You're a mother of 3. Knock it off. Like, stop. Stop. If she were my daughter, I would knock it off. Stop it. But see, Christine is so, like, with all of her kids, she just excuses everything that they do. She's just like, oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, her kids are strange. The Aspen is the best. And
Isabel.
I like Isabel. And, truly, she's still young. The jury's still out. She could, end up being,
You never know. But I mean, I think they're a little more quirky. And I think that she didn't, I think that some of it's her. And, I mean,
she's quirky.
She's quirky. And you can see that it's very distinct with Janelle's kids versus her kids. Like Janelle's kids are very different. Oh, I just saw a photo the other day of Logan. I didn't realize how jacked. Yes. So
hot.
Buff and like huge, jacked. I was like, whoa, hello, Logan.
Well, he works out.
Yeah, he does. Well, he doesn't have any kids yet.
He's got more time.
He's got free time.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything more with this god awful? This was the worst. This was just the worst thing I've ever witnessed. It was so boring.
Yeah. And I only 3 tables with 4 people at each table. Yeah. This is a point here. Okay. David doesn't like sharing food, and I don't either.
What do you mean, like?
Because the Browns, they were like eating off each other's plates.
Like eating off each other's plates.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like Hunter like grabbed something off of someone's plate because he wanted to try it, and he's just like, he doesn't like to. He's like, this family is always sharing food. He doesn't like it. He says, I've never shared food in my life. And I'm kind of with him. I don't like to share food. I don't like it when people want to. I mean, if I offer it to you, fine. But I don't like when people ask if they can have some of my food.
Yeah, I know. I don't mind like the communal thing. I just don't want people eating off my plate.
Yeah, well, that's what's happening here. They eat off each other's plates. It's not like sharing a meal. I'm talking about eating off each other's plates.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
And then Christine makes this comment that's interesting. She's like, because she's so used to having to do everything herself and Kody not really giving a shit about anything that has to do with her. And she's like, David, he just wants to be involved with everything. And, he wanted to be in on the planning the wedding. And it's like, well, yeah, that's normal. It's his wedding too. And obviously men usually don't care as much as the women do, but they will still want it to have a say in it. But it just, she's just continually amazed that David gives a shit.
It's like, God, he comes home every day and asks me how I am.
Yeah.
What? Whoa.
Wants to be intimate with me. Wants to,
likes me. Wants to talk to me. Yeah. Yeah, Christine.
Yeah.
That's, yeah. Oh, God.
And then they have their picture cake, and there's all this joking about, they're
eating each other's faces.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, that was so boring.
Okay. Let's get some of the Meri stuff, because Meri is going from Parowan with her BFF to Vegas.
Yes, and Jen hates Vegas, even though she used to live there because it's too hot.
Yes.
I don't blame her. Las Vegas in the summer is too hot. So I didn't realize this. Jen has known Meri since they lived in the rentals in Las Vegas. So she's known her a long time.
I wonder why did we not see her?
I feel like we never saw her until the last, year.
Yeah.
And then Brandi, I'm not quite sure how long she'd known Brandi, but Meri did say that Brandi and her husband used to double date with her and Kody all the time. And Kody helped them move one time.
Of course he helped them move.
He loves to move, but you know what? If you agree to help someone move, you know them pretty well.
Yeah.
You're friends.
Yeah.
Okay. You're pretty good friends. And Cody's trying to say, Brandi doesn't know me. She doesn't know. I helped her move once. It's like, yeah, Kody, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, now Meri doesn't even need to trash talk me anymore. She's got friends trash talking me.
Well, but the other part of it too is, yeah, Kody, they know you to the extent that they know you, and they are sharing their opinion of you, because you give your opinions about everybody else and about how they're, do you know what I mean? It's a little bit like, yeah, they have the right to their opinion, and you can say, I don't agree, or okay, Yeah,
why is it okay for him to go on TV and say what he thinks about everybody else, but they can't?
Yeah. And he acts like these people are strangers.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, so they are pretty much just all sitting around dishing about.
But they are sitting around talking about Kody.
But they're talking about Meri's experience, and not just trash talking Kody.
I'm sorry, but if you have a good friend and they just ended their marriage of 33 years, this is what you're going to be talking about all the time. Like, when you get together, you're going to sit around and talk about all of this stuff. You're going to talk about him. You're going to talk about like what happened. You're going to go in circles, like all of this stuff they've been talking about. It's like very common.
Yeah, it's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this was very interesting. Meri said that within a week of the spiritual release, Kody asks her, why did you do it so fast? Did you have a guy on the side waiting?
Interesting.
So that's, yeah. Why do you care, Kody? Apparently you still do care.
Well, I think it's that. And it's also, maybe it's the financial piece too, of like, oh, wait. I thought I had a couple months here to try to get my ducks in a row. Like, oh no, you're doing this right now.
You're moving on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she says, well, you said you didn't want to be married. So what was I supposed to do?
Well, and we also learned this in that interview, the interview that we did about abandonment. And this is why Kody was so pissed. Because I think that what he was really pissed about was that she went to the elders. I think at that point he was ready for her to be done, because he was done with her. But it was the elders, and it was the fact that she made him look bad in front of those elders, which also tells you that even though he is pushing up against this religion and the AUB, he still cares. Because if you care what those leaders think of you, and you care that you were abandoned, because apparently a man abandoning a family is like considered the worst thing.
The worst thing you can do.
This is the only thing a man can do wrong, is abandon a family. He can emotionally and mentally, sexually, financially abandon a family, but he can't officially abandon them. You can do it in all these other ways, but once you go to the church leaders, And so that shows me, like, you still care. You still care what these people think of you.
Yeah. No, Kody very much cares what everybody thinks of him. And she talks about how the legal divorce was really a mind game. And then, she still considered herself spiritually married, because I guess they did it both legal and spiritual together. I don't know how that works. And then she texts him back and basically says, I've released you. I'm good. I'm on my own. I've released you from any responsibility for me or anything.
Mhm.
And I don't know. Did he respond to that? I don't think so.
No. Well, yeah, we hear Brandi talks about how, she always saw that he favored Robyn.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what she witnessed. Again, she has the right to say that if that's what she saw. And then they get into this whole COVID thing about, God, I guess I didn't really understand or drill down what was going on here, because during COVID, right, Kody had all these rules. And I didn't realize that the entire time he was, he had this list of rules, and that Meri was actually following all of them, but he still wouldn't go to her house.
Right.
Like he still wasn't seeing her. And that she was talking about how she was constantly calling and checking in on them, like trying to build this relationship, and that Robyn had no time.
Yeah.
Like zero. And this is very much, they're like highlighting her hypocrisy, just how there's this, why are you crying about this? You're bawling about this end of this relationship. You're so sad that Meri's leaving town, but you don't even want to talk to her.
Yeah, I know. Well, they did let her come over that 1 year for Thanksgiving because she was following the rules. So after a year of her following the rules, they finally
throw her a bone.
Yeah, let her come over for Thanksgiving. She brought her Rice Krispie turkey.
Well, and then Meri talks about how she just stopped reaching out, which is exactly what I would do. I mean, anybody with any kind of level of self-worth would be like, what? If this person doesn't care about me, then why am I going to invest any time calling you and trying to, let me find, I don't know. It's just whole thing.
It's we've been through this like so many times. Meri, I hope this is the last episode that Meri
visits with friends.
Yes,
and talks about
this. Hopefully, this is her closure. That this is her closure trip. She went to the cul-de-sac. I hope this is closure because she needs to move on.
Yeah,
we need to all move on. We know. We saw it. We watched it. Kody is an asshole. They bring up how Robyn didn't even go to Bonnie's funeral. And of course, Robyn has some half-assed excuse about, again, they can't both leave and quarantine and who's going to take care of the kids and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And she says that she stayed so long because of her commitment. And this goes back to the strong religious indoctrination. She really committed. She really believed that she was committing to this for life and into eternity.
And I also think that Kody was breadcrumbing her the entire time. I think the moment it felt like she might break away, I think he was giving her a few breadcrumbs, and that was enough. And then she kind of, okay, yes. And maybe he brought up the religious thing. Maybe he would say, like, Meri, we're in this together, like eternity and let's do this. All of that kind of stuff. I bet you anything. List. And I think that's what we're not seing. Yeah. And the list.
The list that he knew she could never complete. It was like he just kept adding things to the list. God, I do hope she does at least tell us a few things that were on that list.
Oh, I know. Please. We need the list, and we need the whatever that infamous text chain of the holiday Christmas exchange from a couple years ago. We need that one too with the kids. Yeah.
And then this was, the cherry on the top was that the breakup conversation on the property.
Oh God.
Where Robyn had to leave. She was just sobbing and she had to leave. And Kody said that it was so hard on Robyn. Poor girl. That whole talk just wrecked her. Oh my gosh. I mean, poor Robyn. Must have been so hard to watch Meri get just dumped on, abandoned, humiliated.
Well, and then they were laughing about how the next conversation Kody and Meri had together, he said, well, I feel like I owe you a conversation without Robyn. And she's like, yeah, you do. And then he's like, oh, poor girl. That really wrecked her. And I guess at the time I didn't realize like maybe we did talk about it, like how incredibly insulting that is. Like he cares, you're breaking up with Meri and he's more concerned about Robyn.
Well, I think this is the first time I've heard of this, that he
said, poor girl.
Yeah, because they were talking about
that conversation wrecked her.
He said that, I think in front of Rebecca and Nathan, but he said it he repeated it on the couch. I think he told Rebecca and Nathan that it was very hard on Robyn, and then in the couch interview, that's where he says, poor girl, that whole talk just wrecked her.
No, he said that to her. Meri and Kody saw each other. They're in the same room and they have that second conversation. He's wearing his favorite light tan leather jacket.
That's right.
And he says that. And you see Meri, she kind of gives him a look like,
she goes, oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, and that's this is the part where I just feel for Meri because that's so insulting. Mm-hmm. And again, I think people do this kind of stuff and don't realize that it's insulting again, but it just kind of shows you this mentality of how she's been treated this whole time. And that yes, of course, your self-esteem is probably very low right now. You don't feel great because, and actually on our Thursday show this week, we are going to be talking about trad wives. Mm-hmm. And, but something really interesting, we were both listening to the We Can Do Hard Things, Glennon Doyle's podcast. And what's the woman's name? Tia Leving?
Tia Leving.
But one of the things that she said on that I thought was so interesting was you could never make yourself small enough. Mm-hmm. You could never get to that place of perfection. Mm-hmm. Or that place of, okay, you did everything. Like you could never make yourself small enough. You could never make yourself that piece of it. And I think about Meri and just how much she must have been trying to make herself smaller and smaller, and like more and more and more, and how painful it is now to realize, oh, wow, I lost myself somewhere.
And she never had a chance.
No.
It was never didn't matter how many lists she accomplished. She didn't. Yeah. It was never going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's why she talks about how, obviously she feels like she's 52 or whatever. She says feels like she's wasted, all these years.
Yeah.
It's just, that's sad. It's a terrible feeling.
Yeah. And the religion also makes women who are older, right? Once you're out of the childbearing years as a woman, you're no longer, needed so much.
Yeah.
Like you're not so prized.
Yeah, and what Corey and Melanie were saying is that because the sole purpose of the sole purpose of having sex is for procreation. Mm-hmm. Okay. So if you can no longer procreate, there's no reason for you to be having sex.
Yeah.
And so it's an excuse that these men use why there's no longer an intimate marriage. And he did it to Christine and Meri.
Yeah.
Just stopped having sex with them because
maybe not Janelle though.
Yeah, maybe not Janelle. Not sure.
And can Robyn really have more children? How old is she? She's a few years younger
47 or something.
Yeah, please.
Robyn has her own special set of rules. But going back to the doctrine of the AUB, they were saying that was perfectly normal and acceptable. Mm-hmm. That if a wife couldn't have any more children, you didn't need to have sex with her. You still had to take care of her.
Mm-hmm. But you don't have to visit her or talk to her or do anything, right?
No,
you were the bare minimum.
You don't have to have an intimate marriage. And remember, Christine kept saying intimate marriage. And I'm like, well, what is she talking about exactly? Is it just sex? I think it's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Which is why he just went over to her house, crashed, got up in the morning, ate breakfast and left.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And I wonder if it also means because there's different parts of intimacy. There's the sex part. And then there's also are they hugging? Are they kissing? Are they, you know what I mean? Is all of that gone too? You don't even get
or
that.
Confiding in people, having someone listen to you. Mm-hmm. And even Christine's kids say, one of the things they say about David is we're not used to seeing our mother being physically affectionate with anyone, not even our dad. They all said that.
Yeah.
No, he was not being affectionate with her. He was not listening to her and, being a supportive partner, any of it. So,
yeah.
So,
all right, and then finally we have to go look at the fucking houses.
Yeah, they
How many
go
times are we gonna have to do this?
outside of the cul-de-sac, and when I don't know if it's the camera angle or what, but they used to always do those like overhead shots, and it looked much bigger. Like through the gate, it looked like it was a very short distance from the gate to the houses. Like that cul-de-sac, cement area was not that big.
But was their little section gated, or I thought it was a whole gated community, and that then they would then drive through the gates and go over to where they are. Oh,
no.
So just their little 4 houses were gated.
Yes.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah. And then Robyn says she wonders if they would still be together if they never left the cul-de-sac, which is a very interesting question. But it's like, but Robyn, why are you even saying that? You're the one who wanted to leave.
Again, Robyn says the things that she feels like, this is what I need to say to seem like a nice person and for people to like me. So I'm going to continue to say these things versus just, being yourself. But she knows she can't be herself. She knows she can't be. And if she's so wrapped up in all this, religious stuff, and we talked about this in the interview, there's this level of who you truly are versus what you show the world.
Right.
And in those contexts, you are not supposed to be authentic in the world. You're supposed to put on an act.
Right.
And so again, I think this is Robyn, and I think Kody too.
Yeah, I think we can't take anything she says as being serious.
Oh, well, what an episode.
What an episode. And I felt badly at the end when Jen's kids, and they were all sitting around the
Brandi
island, and Brandi's kids sitting around the kitchen island, and Meri's brought ice cream and this and that. And Meri is joking about how she would choose Brandi as a sister wife over Jenn, and she's kind of joking with Brandi's husband. And the kids had these looks on their faces like, what the fuck? And I was like, Meri, time and place. These poor kids, they're just like, what is happening?
Well, I also wonder if they're constantly like, oh God, are you constantly going to compare everything we do to like, well, in the polygamy world, if this would happen or this would happen or that would happen, I think that's the other part with Meri that's interesting to watch her. And I do it too. Like I'll laugh about something that maybe is a little painful, but she definitely has this kind of, I'm going to make jokes. And then the whole thing of like, well, I'm over it. I've seen the thing. Let's go. I'm out of here kind of thing, like stomping away from the gates. It's like, okay, like we know you're over this. You don't have to do this act for us, but that's a lot of like, I think what she feels like she has to do. I don't know.
Yeah.
I find it really irritating. And I wonder if those friends do too.
Probably. They're probably so sick of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want her to move on, start dating something.
Yeah. All right. Well, wrapping it up. So thank you so much for joining us. We are here every Monday and Thursday. Mondays are Sister Wives. And as I mentioned, Thursday, we usually do some other topic or maybe a documentary. And this week we're talking about the trad wives phenomena.
Which is nothing new. Actually.
Yes. If you like this podcast and want to support us, please give us a 5-star rating and review. Those reviews always really do help us. Please subscribe and check us out on Psych Legal Pop on TikTok and Instagram. And finally, if you want more content from us or you want to hear more from us, please go check out our Patreon over at patreon.com. And I think that's it. Thanks so much, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax day is year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.
Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fan Fellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and your resident lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your bookish internet goofball, but you can call me the Smash Daddy.
And we are currently deep diving Brandon Sanderson's fantasy epic, Mistborn. But here's the catch. Stephen here has not read Mistborn before.
That's right, hey. So each week, you'll get my unfiltered, raw reactions to every single chapter.
And along the way, we'll do character deep dives, magic explainers, and Stephen will even try to guess what's next. Spoiler alert, he'll be wrong.
Newsflash, I'm never wrong. Episodes come out every Wednesday, and you can find Fantasy Fan Fellows wherever you get your podcasts.
Over 90 of the top 100 U.S. accounting firms trust Bill to handle bill pay processes. Why? Because our tools are built on over $1 trillion of secure payments. We're not just moving money. We're powering financial workflows for 500,000 customers. That's a level of expertise you just can't fake. Ready to talk with an expert? Visit Bill.com/proven to get started and grab a $250 gift card as a thank you. Terms and conditions apply. See offer page for details.